Dr. Emily is from Naboso. She is a functional podiatrist. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay. And she knows a million times more than literally anyone I know about feet. And I was just going to tell you a little story that I just got my certified personal trainer from NASM, which is highly accredited, amazing. And I can tell you maybe 2 sentences of things that I learned about feet in the entire curriculum. And I just think that is such a disservice to trainers everywhere, because like we should know more about this. You know what I mean? We should know more stuff. That's why I'm so excited to talk to you today, because my audience, I would say they are half certified personal trainers or fitness professionals or people that they really should know more about this stuff. So it's going to be amazing for you to get to tell us all about it and find out why feet are so important in fitness. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Of course. And yes, it is a much needed topic. I've been in fitness for over 20 years, and sadly, it's a very small part of the education. So let's educate.
Yes, absolutely. So my first question, now it's such a generalized question, but I feel like it's so important. Now I have had foot issues. My son has had foot issues. I might know more than the average person, but I still don't know a lot about feet. Why are feet important in the body itself? Not even related to fitness, just how do feet connect to, how do they relate to your hips, your back, your shoulders, your posture, everything? I would love to know a little bit more about that. Tell us all, please.
Yes, of course. So our feet, picture ourselves standing, right? Just standing or walking. Of course, the only contact point between the body and the ground are our feet. So they are our literal foundation. They are our mechanical foundation. So if you're thinking about what is your posture, it starts with your foot posture. If your feet are not strong, if your feet are not stable, then the rest of your body cannot be as ideally aligned. From a fitness perspective, which we can kind of tie it in, is that we always want to be thinking about strength, right? Like, what is our strength? What is our stability? How are we activating our glutes and our hips and all of these amazing muscles? It's really built off of our from the ground up stability or from the ground up connection. So I teach a lot about optimizing glute strength as an example from the ground up through foot to core stability. So our feet tie into everything.
Isn't that so funny? You know, nobody would think, if you didn't know anything, why would you think your feet affect your glutes? Like in any way. Like, so strange. Nobody ever tells you that. And I'm so happy that you're here to like tell us all about it. So I have a few questions. I have them written down because they're wordy. So I wanted to make sure I got them right. So can you explain what a functional podiatrist does in general?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Absolutely. So maybe some of the listeners have heard of a podiatrist, right, which is a foot specialist. A functional podiatrist is, that's what I consider myself, is going to take a much more integrated perspective. I'm factoring in not just functional movement, but also functional medicine. So I'm concerned about your stress levels, your sleep, your diet, inflammation, what are different kind of recovery techniques, photobiomodulation, whole body cryo. I'm very into the nervous system. And then, of course, I'm looking at functional movement. I do a gait assessment on every single one of my patients. And then I try to get as many people into as natural of a foot function as possible, meaning possibly minimal shoes, possibly barefoot training. But I'm very into optimizing natural foot strength.
Wonderful. Oh, that's so interesting that you integrate like all of that stuff into the podiatry, because like your feet, you don't really think about all that stuff. Like, but inflammation is like everything, especially like I've had plantar fasciitis. I mean, like the inflammation is nuts down there. So it's very interesting. You would think about the whole body inflammation when it comes to your feet. That is so, I love that. Okay, so you talk a lot about movement longevity. Can you explain how the feet are related to movement?
Yes, so movement longevity. So that's actually, I like to consider myself a movement longevity doctor. That is my focus.
Okay.
And it's not just, initially I used to think of it as I want to move well when I'm 120, right? Like I want to be able to do all the amazing things I love to do. But if you actually look at it a little bit further, movement is actually one of the secrets to living to 120. So it's not just, right, I want to move well. Your feet play a very important role in the quality and the really the efficiency and the accuracy of our movement. You have to feel every step that you're taking. Your feet are not just a mechanical structure, which is what I spoke about a little bit earlier, but your feet are also very sensory. So there's thousands of nerves in the bottom of your feet, and those nerves are reading the ground. Those nerves are waking up the brain. The nerves are actually part of how we feel stable in our body emotionally, because we have to connect to our body to feel safe. That is part of this as well. So all of that factors in. Oftentimes, I will reference the role of the foot and the nervous system in mood, memory, and movement. Those are the three really facets of foot strength that I think about when I think about longevity.
Okay, perfect. And actually, it's so funny you mentioned, I've got a neuroball right here.
Yay.
And I had a question about this. So for everyone who doesn't know, this is a, it's backwards, Nervosa neuroball. And it looks like this. Do you see the texture on there? Okay, and when you press it, it makes your fingers and your toes do that, right? And so I have this. Why is texture important when it comes to feet and movement?
Yeah. So the texture, which you were demonstrating what's called our Naboso effect. So when it
Yeah.
makes the little indents, we call that the Naboso
Yeah.
effect. So these nerves in the bottom of the foot that I was referencing are the exact same as the nerves in your hand, in the palm of your hand. They are touch nerves, and they are sensitive to very specific stimulation. One of those stimulation that they are sensitive to is texture. And it's specifically this type of texture, meaning it's 2-point discrimination. The best analogy to Naboso is Braille. So when you
Oh,
look at Braille, and it's on every ATM, so look at the ATM next time you're there, and look at the Braille dots, and you can think about the pattern very similar to the indents that you showed on your finger. That is 2-point discrimination, which is a pattern your brain recognizes. And that's what we're utilizing. That is how you build awareness. So you're just like, do I feel my feet? A lot of people don't feel their feet.
yeah.
Do you have strong feet? There's actually 26 muscles in the bottom of the feet, and those 26 muscles connect to your pelvic floor. So we need to be able to activate them. I
Wait,
know,
hold on.
crazy.
The bottom of the foot connects to your pelvic floor?
Yes, and your diaphragm and your tongue. So it is, I
I'm on
know, that's why
my
this
phone
is
right now,
fascinating.
Dr. Emily.
This is why I love what I do, because I get
Yeah.
to share this fascinating power of the foot. And then the last one that I want to share is that texture actually stimulates circulation. And circulation is part of recovery. So you can see already that there's this spider web of benefits that comes from the foot sensorially, that's like the texture, and mechanically.
My gosh. I, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit, I can't even. I'm so mind blown right now by that. That's so crazy. This is fascinating to me because it's like, what on earth? And honestly, the body is all connected. It does make sense. It's
Yes.
just so crazy to hear it, from
Yes.
you. Oh, okay. Anyway, oh, this is a huge question of mine. Huge question of mine and my followers and anyone who's a fitness professional in any way. Shoes or no shoes when working out at home?
Oh, when you're at home. Okay. Well, yeah.
Yes. Yes. The
As
gym might be a
much,
sanitary thing, but at home.
yeah, yes. So as much as I can, I will advocate barefoot training,
Okay.
right? So if you can do it, if you are doing a workout that is linked to your foot type, and I'll explain what that means in a moment. So let's say you're doing squats, Pilates, yoga, kettlebells, steel mace, whatever it is that you're doing, that type of workout, everyone should be able to tolerate being barefoot, no shoes, to really activate the foot position, foot strength, etc. Let's say you are doing something ballistic like box jumps or jumping jacks or running. Now there's impact, which maybe we start to have to ask a little bit, okay, what's your foot type? What's the surface you're on? Do you have any history of plantar fasciitis, etc.? So that becomes a little bit different conversation. But
Okay.
for most people in a home, let's say you're doing something like a vertical Pilates, I used to teach that type of method. I would for sure want people to be barefoot even if they have flat feet, because we can control our foot a little bit, get those toes activated, get the 26 muscles activated. So that's where I would push in that type of workout.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that is interesting because with plantar fasciitis, they always said, well, you need structured footwear. So when you're walking around and
Mhm.
everything, your feet don't, whatever they're supposed to see. I don't know the science. I just know that's what they told me.
Yes.
But when you're doing things that aren't moving around, when you're not jumping, things like that, I didn't really think about the fact that you're not putting pressure there. So that's actually amazing. I love that.
Yes.
It's good
Yes.
to know. I'm learning things
Yes.
left and
And
right
then
today.
if I could just add, so because someone had made a question of like barefoot question mark, maybe there was a question mark and an
That was one
exclamation
of my
point
clients.
on there. Right. What is happening? Is so for that where someone may initially be like, whoa, why would I be barefoot? Right. Is it's not just the act of taking off your shoes and then you're doing a barefoot workout, right? So I teach how to put intention. I call it barefoot strong. If you're barefoot strong, is that you're putting intention and purpose behind the fact that you're barefoot. And I teach a lot of these methods how to actually activate what's called short foot, how to get into your toe muscles and then how to get your toes to connect to your pelvic floor that we mentioned, so that you're really utilizing the fact that your foot is exposed, right? So it's kind of like imagine any workout that someone is doing and you're working with a trainer or a coach, right? So let's say you're with a client or any of the listeners are with a client and you're not cueing anything about breath. I mean, you do. It's so inherent to how we work out, or similar to the core.
Mhm.
There's some cue, right? And I remember being in the gym when I was, in my early 20s and I was a personal trainer, exactly like so many here, right? And I would be cueing something about the abdominal region as they were pushing out of their squat, right? So it's an inherent layer of how we teach our clients to create stability. The foot is part of that story as well, right?
Yeah.
That I would be cueing as the client comes out of the squat. Push your toes into the ground. As you push your toes into the ground, exhale. So there's a stacking or an integration of stability and strength that they're now able to access. So that's a little for the listener who was like, what? Right. That's why I was saying barefoot. So you can actually utilize that feature of the foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bo, listen, that's my client that said that. Bo, I need you to listen. You can't just do it for no reason. You got to do it intentionally with intention, just like Dr. Emily said, okay?
Yes.
Listen to her.
Yes.
Listen to her. Okay. One last question for you, but it's a multi question. So, can you leave 2 tips for my audience about taking care of their feet for a long active life?
So one of my favorite ways is to do a 5-point foot release. I would say do it on the Nero ball. Just so you
Love
can
it.
get the texture. But what's unique about the Nero ball? So you showed the Nero ball as a ball.
Yep.
I have half of
Our
the Nero
favorite.
ball. Yep.
Right.
So it splits into these 2 pieces. And then we teach people to stand on the 2 domes at the exact same time. And you will stand on 5 different points on the bottom of the foot. We have a QR code that teaches this. And you're holding for 20 to 30 seconds. So you're doing a pinpoint pressure release
Okay.
to the muscles, to the nerves, to the fascia on the bottom of the foot. And we recommend doing this in the morning and evening. So that's one of my tips for foot health longevity is that you have to do some sort of reset to the feet.
Yeah.
That's important.
Okay.
Other one that I'm really, really big around is I absolutely love toe spacers. And toe spacers are very trendy right now.
Yeah.
And I think I actually have a box of them here. So these are splay toe spacers. They're in the box, but you can see they slide on the toes like this. And what they do is they're opening up all of the toes, stretching and supporting natural toe alignment. And then of course there's circulation and all the other great benefits. But it's one of the easiest ways to reverse being in your shoes all day is by doing something that's the opposite, like
Yes.
stretch it, splay it. So just those 2 things, just creating a habit of that. And then I have others that I teach people how to activate their foot. I teach people to stand on one leg and to do 10 seconds, couple times on each leg.
Yeah.
And I want people to do these things every single day as a foot habit. It literally takes 5 minutes to do this little series.
Yeah.
Do it when you brush your teeth and you're getting
Mhm.
ready. And by doing that consistently now, at this age, not, when you're 80 and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to fall. And then you start to incorporate like your feet and your foot strength and you think about it. All of it's super easy to do now.
Yes, absolutely do it now. That's what I always tell people about fitness in general. Do it now. Now is when you need to start building yourself up for your old self. That's what I
Yes.
always say. For your
Yes.
elderly self, do it for you
Yes.
later in life. I always said that.
Yes. Yes.
I saw,
Prevention is so much easier than reactive.
yeah,
Like to respond, to be preventive. Yes.
absolutely. I love that. I did see a question in the comments about barefoot shoes. Do you recommend barefoot shoes versus actually being barefoot, or are there circumstances where you would use one and not the other?
So let's say in like a gym setting, right? So if you're in a commercial gym, then probably a barefoot shoe versus being totally barefoot.
Mhm.
Um, and if you're in your home, like what we were saying, my preference would be barefoot.
Right.
If you are, uh, let's say running maybe, okay, do you want to be totally barefoot when you run? Do you want to be in minimal shoes? So I would say match it to the activity,
Okay.
match it to the location that you're in.
Mhm.
As we start to get into a little bit more higher intensive exercises that are ballistic, so running, jumping, things like that, then I do factor in foot type.
Mhm.
So a overpronated flat foot that is unlocked and typically a little less stable, I may navigate footwear recommendations a little bit differently for more of a impact related activity. So that becomes a little bit more specific. I try to not make blanket recommendations to every
Right.
human because we're very complex.
Yes, we are.
But yeah, but if we understand the general guidelines, and then most of my patients are the one percenters that just kind of are out of the bubble here and they're kind of not the norm. But to understand, okay, we still need to stimulate our foot. If someone is a little bit hesitant around doing barefoot training, barefoot lifting, and things like that, totally get it. I've embraced that for a decade. Is can you do your movement prep barefoot? So could you do like the foam rolling? And I'm sure everyone's doing some sort of movement prep, or you should be. So some sort of like walkouts, planks, maybe a little yoga flow, maybe something, right? That stuff is perfect to do barefoot. Prime the nervous system, prime your fascia and your feet and your brain, then put your shoes on and go do your kettlebell workout or whatever it is. That is if someone doesn't feel comfortable being barefoot totally.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It actually does, because that's where you stretch out your feet anyway. So that's a perfect time to do it. And
Yeah.
probably during cool down as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm. Perfect. I love that. That is wonderful. So I know that this little neuro ball is like one of your magic little toys here. They're amazing. They're so wonderful, and you can actually use it all over your body. That's one thing that actually Gabby taught me,
Yeah.
that you can use it on your hands, you can use it on your feet, you can use it on your arms. Actually, I have a little bit of numbness still left from when I had breast cancer and I had lymph nodes removed. So she told me to use it on
Yep.
that. It's like amazing. All of this little texture. What do you call this texture anyway? Are they little nubbins? What are they?
So they're little pyramids. We do have a
Pyramids.
patent. We have a patent around the texture, and so people can see there's little tiny pyramids. They're 1.5 millimeter tall, so they're small, and that's on literally every single product. So this is our hand activation kit, and this is for grip strength and for recovering the hand.
Mhm.
And then this is our neuro stick, and it has that same texture on it. So all the skin, a lot of the products do focus on feet and hands, just because the nerves are different here. But we have nerves all over our skin, and that's where our neuro stick is great. And it's definitely something you got to try. Try it and love it.
I know. Go grab yourself something, you guys. This texture is amazing. It's oddly calming. Now, I have ADHD, so it might be that too, but it's just, just to roll it in your hands. It's relaxing. It's something that you can do whenever, and you're helping yourself at the same time. It's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Texture is known as nature's natural analgesic. So it like calms us, which is
Mm-hmm.
very, very interesting. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. I think, oh, I love my Novoso socks. Somebody's saying, wearing them right now? Oh, Gabby's Gabby. Gabby, that doesn't count. Perfect. Perfect. I have the recovery socks too. Actually, I love the recovery socks, by the way. I wear them at nighttime after my kids go to bed. I just walk around my stairs and I'm like getting a drink or whatever. It's really, really nice. I love those. They're fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, for everyone who's listening, all of the Naboso products at naboso.com, so naboso.com. They're designed to try to make foot health very easy and seamless and almost passive in your lifestyle, where like the socks, literally slide on the socks, walk around like you're going to anyway, and you're recovering your feet and you're not actually doing anything different, which is for me great because I understand, feet are feet. We need to make it a priority for people, but in an easy way. And that's hopefully where Naboso falls in.
Exactly. I love that. And I love that Fitsentive and Naboso have had a relationship for a while. I'm so glad I got to meet you in person. That's so fantastic. You've been amazing. And if you guys would like, you can find a few workouts from Dr. Emily on Fitsentive's site. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Dr. Emily, I hope you have a fantastic day
Thank
there.
you.
Where are you located?
I'm in
Dr.
Arizona.
Emily, West Coast?
Arizona.
Okay, wonderful. I'm in New York, and it's snowstorming out here. So it's
Oh, cool.
that's what all this light is from. It's from all the snow. It's crazy. So we've got the good weather. We've got the, snow. So.
Yes. Stay warm.
I know. Really. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Emily.
Of course.
You for being here. I appreciate it so much.
Of
and
course.
I hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.